Yo, what it is, everybody? Thanks for tuning back in here to another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Today we want to talk about the GSXR1000R. This one, whoop, right behind me, is particularly a 2017, and I had to actually drive quite far to go get this bike. I got it back about 8 months ago or so, and because I wanted it in blue. And I wanted it in that GSXR blue. At the time, I didn't have any other color bike. I had all the Ducatis with the reds and stuff like that, but no longer have them. And of course, still have the BMW over here. But now, since I don't have any of those bikes and stuff now, wouldn't have been that bad if I would have got it in black. But I still love it in blue. That GSXR blue is just bomb diggity, and I still wouldn't change it. But we're going to talk about why I think this bike at the moment, meaning at the time of making this video, why I think this is actually the best bike on the market for the money. And go into a few details and stuff like that, because a lot of you viewers and stuff ask me, hey, what do you think about, you know, some of the other bikes like Kawasaki, had the Yamaha, some CBRs, you know, hell, even some Aprilias and stuff like that, MV Agustas. And all those bikes are fine and stuff like that, even the Italian bikes. And like I said, still the Ducatis. But, you know, some of them are a little bit more purpose-built for one thing and one thing only, rather than kind of an all-arounder, which I believe this bike is going to definitely, significantly, probably be the best all-arounder. And if you watch some of my videos when I did and rated all of my bikes, when I had all of them here in the garage, the top three was the GSXR, the Gromsky, and the BMW. Now, let me first and foremost say the BMW, sure, it is a little bit of a better bike. Sure, it is. And I'm not jumping off topic. The reason why I'm focusing on this one is because we have to kind of comparison, because there's really only two other bikes, I believe right now, in my personal opinion, that really compete with the GSXR. And that is the BMW and the ZX10RR. Now, the BMW, I do believe, is, of course, all-around better bike than both of them. But it should be, because it's like 30 grand when you load it with all the other options. Now, if you get a base model BMW S1000RR, to me, you're paying for the name. You don't get any of the cool features with the electronic suspension and how you can dampen it and raise, lower it, you know, the heated grips, all that jazz, the race package, the works. So you're just paying for the name, and it starts at like $18,000 or something like that, which is more than the GSXR 1000R. Now, the ZX10RR is its best competitor, but it is actually still a little bit more money, I believe right now, than the GSXR. And I only say that because Suzuki is really offering some crazy incentives to move these motorcycles. Currently at the moment, the 17s, if you find some leftover 17s, you're going to get a killer deal. Obviously now the leftover 18s and the 19s and stuff, well, they have small rebates on them, but nothing crazy at the moment. But what they are giving to those new bikes and stuff like that, I mean, you still kind of get the free Yosh slip-on exhaust and stuff like that. That's cool. But you mainly get, if you're paying cash, well, then you're paying cash. That's different. But if you're financing it and have good credit, you're going to get 0% financing through Suzuki. You can get $1,500 off and stuff like that. So, and the bike is significantly priced below MSRP, where some of these bikes and stuff, even in high demand markets like where I live, you can get it completely out of the door, even with dealer fees, for under 15 grand and at 0%, and 0% on any recreational vehicle, at least here in the States. I don't know how it works there in other countries, but it's like ridiculous. Even people that have credit scores in the, you know, 700s plus on recreational vehicles, you're boogieing if you're below 5%, because they're just a toy. But on to some of the features and stuff like that, you know, as opposed to the ZX10R and stuff like that. The reason why I actually kind of still do believe that this bike kind of is a better buy than the BMW, and what kills the BMW is its price. This bike is awesome in every way possible. It is still the best. There's still sport bikes that are still trying to catch up to it today, 5 years later. But what kills it at the price, and when you get it all fully loaded and up like that, a lot of people can't afford to purchase a S1000R all loaded up, because you got to really, let's be real, it's like a really nice car, but a lot of people say it's not practical, it's useless, so on and so forth. You can only take 2 people on it. It doesn't have a trunk. You can't carry cargo, this, that, whatever. To maybe your wife or something like that, whatever it may be. But bottom line, it's not a car. It's not as versatile, and it's a motorcycle. It's a luxury item. It's a toy. So you can cut that in half and come over to the Suzuki, or hell, even the GSXR1000R, and you get almost all of the features now. Now, granted, yes, it took a few years for them to catch up, but even though, it still doesn't have all of the features, like cruise control and heated grips and stuff like that. But from a performance aspect and stuff like that, the bike itself is completely and well balanced. Now, again, that bike was ahead of its time when it came out, but now you can do that for about half the cost, and you get a good pipe on it. You get a good flash with a good tuner and stuff like that, and a filter, and you're pretty much faster than anything that's out there. Now, the GSXR10R may make a little bit more horsepower, on the dyno, or this, that, whatever. Again, dyno numbers don't mean everything. The dyno number just tells you the difference between where you started and where you wound up. But with VVT, the drivability, the rideability, the comfort, the seat, which a lot of people ride these bikes on the street, as I've mentioned, that's why I review these bikes the way that I do. They ride them on the street, and then the occasional track days. The handle grips, how big are they? Do they provide you with enough support? Where the rear sets are they too far back, too far forward, or anything like that? It's very similar to like how the Ducatis are, where they are a little bit more recessed back to give you a little bit more of aggressive riding position. And even though they may be back, just an inch or two further, it takes a lot more pressure and weight off of you, and you have to tilt, forward. And then you get that stress in your arms, your chest, and then it all relies down here on your wrists and stuff like that, where this bike is a little bit more relaxed, just like the GSXR10R. Now, I've been looking around for some GSXR10Rs and stuff like that to see what kind of discounts and stuff like that there are. The only thing that really sucks about the GSXR10R is the gauge cluster. It is so outdated, and it just looks like shit. I'm not going to lie. It does look like shit. And I like Kawasaki, but it looks like shit. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this one looks amazing. It's an LCD screen. It's not a TFT like, some of the other Ducatis and stuff like that, but it's better. And hey, what can you do? I've ridden both. Me personally, I like the Suzuki a little bit better. I think the electronics and everything work a little bit better. The suspension's pretty much the same, but I just think Suzuki, the way they dialed it in, it was just a little bit better. And nonetheless, when you could find them for a little bit cheaper, meaning $2,000 or $3,000 cheaper, well, and the bikes are so similar, it's kind of a no-brainer. So, but then again, it also is going to depend on which one that you like better. Maybe you like the way the Ninja looks a little bit better over the Gsxr, vice versa. But either one, you can't go wrong. And as far as dyno numbers for the ones that are concerned, I do believe the ZX10 does make a little bit more power at the rear tire than the GSXR, but it does not have VVT, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure the last one doesn't. The new one coming out does. But this bike does have VVT, and believe it or not, that's one of the major selling points. And until you ride a bike that actually has it and ride it down low, it makes the world of a difference with the amount of torque and everything down low. Because a lot of people love and rave about the torque from the RSV4 and the V4 Ducati riding around the street. They really like that feeling of torque, and it's fantastic and it's great. As opposed to this bike, well, it makes torque, but it makes torque very high up into the RPM band. And this is a horsepower bike, so this bike's kind of a pig before 8,000 RPM, but boy, when it hits 9,000, it's screaming like a raped ape. Where this thing down low, 3, 4, 5,000 RPM, you're in, second gear, you can mash on the throttle, and this thing can come right up from the amount of torque because it does have VVT. With a new BMW S1000R coming out, it does have VVT, so I believe that's going to fix a lot of it, and a lot of its riding characteristics and a lot of its drivability that a lot of people are going to like when that goes back into the new motor. Nonetheless, it's lighter, it's going to be a little bit more nimble, thinner, and all that other stuff. That's all supposed to be with the next generation bike, as this one was. But bang for your buck, what you're going to get even out of the box, not modded, which is going to be fine for most people, except for the stock can. Shit is just ugly as hell. But if you do buy it brand new, you do get a free slip-on or something like that. And which I showed you guys actually here on the channel, to Yosh slip-on. And it makes the bike look aesthetically more pleasing and adds a little bit of more, flavor and sauce and sound to the bike. So you will end up liking it. And it just, again, out of the box, the bike still is great. Me, it wasn't good enough for me that, I modded it, but I can't leave anything alone. But even where it was restricted for emissions and stuff like that, before the flash, the bike was really good. And I really can't complain too much about it. And even riding the stock Gsxr10R around and stuff like that. Again, the one thing that just bothered me most was that old ass display, but I'm pretty sure, because if you look at all the forums and read other people's reviews and stuff like that, people will say the same thing, that the display's just got to go. And the ZX10 used to be all the way at the top of the list, and just, it's just due for an update, and it's kind of ran down to the bottom of the list. No different than when the GSXR was in 2016. It was like the same bike from 2006, just some old shit with some new body plastics and stuff like that. It was in desperate need of a refresh. And now it's Kawasaki's turn to do the same thing. Excuse me. So, but bang for your buck, I do believe the way that this bike rides, drives, fuel mileage, comfort, maneuverability, the braking system. Even some people don't like the brakes, but again, you're riding this on the street as an overall package, not as a full-blown race bike like an R1M or a V4 or anything like that. As an overall package, I do believe that this is the best bike. And as far as service and reliability and stuff like that, there's a reason I've had 6 of them. I have never really had any major issues with any of them, not like a rectifier going out, which is common parts on any other bike. But all I've done for my GSXRs, and I'm not going to sit here and say that they're the most reliable bike in the world, because I can have one and have no problems, get the next one, it could shit the bed, throw a rod, whatever it may be. But I've had over 40,000 miles plus on one, never shit the bed. I did hundreds and hundreds of track races on my other ones, Hayabusas and stuff like that, never any issues. And I personally do believe, of all of the manufacturers, this for sure, that Suzuki for sure is the easiest to work on as far as a mechanical standpoint. I just believe that it's just very well engineered and put together the way as far as the ease of service and repairability. But not that Kawasaki is very far behind or anything like that. They're great. So is Honda and so is Yamaha. Even though that I'm not the biggest fan of Yamaha, I owned one, but again, some of the other bikes that are come out and stuff like that, like the new Fireblade and the R1, just the R1, not the M. Those bikes are great, and I have nothing bad to say about them. But from a price point perspective, with everything else that you're going to get with it, with cost, repair, maintenance, and stuff like that, comfort, fuel mileage, and everything, I really do believe that this bike right here, right now, is going to be the best bike on the market for the money. And don't get it wrong, don't get it twisted. Hey, it's only going to be like this for maybe another 6 months or something like that before somebody else knocks it off its pedestal and comes out with the next best thing. Absolutely. I mean, that's just the evolution of technology and everything that we live in. Could be the BMW, could be Kawasaki may have something up their sleeve, could be Yamaha, Honda, whoever it may be. But this is a hot ticket, man. And if you haven't ridden one, talk to some people that have them, and they will tell you riding it around on the street and the rideability is I'm not gonna lie, I kind of actually like riding this bike more on the street than actually my BMW. I prefer going faster and racing this bike a little bit more because it's just freaking badass. But this thing, you know, even with the small things that I've done with it, it's no slouch. And you've seen me beat some BMWs on it, and it's gonna come down to the rider. If that rider messes up, don't sleep on the GSXR because it's gonna be on your ass or anything like that. And if they're equal, it's gonna, again, it's still really pretty much gonna come down to the rider. So, but I've got about 3,000 miles here on this one. Again, I've only had it for a few months, but I remember I had, you know, 9 other motorcycles in here, so I kind of spread my time trying to ride all of them. But the miles is significantly going up here on this one, and I think that it's going to be great. So I just wanted to give my quick review on why I think this right now at the moment is the best bike for the money. But again, you know, hey, there's going to be something else that's going to come along, knock it off its pedestal, and there's going to be the next new best bike there for the money. And I think I'm willing to bet that it's going to be the ZX10 after it does get its refresh. But again, the best bike that's going to be out, I think, in my opinion, soon, that's just my personal opinion, is going to be the new BMW S1000R. It is going to be badass. They didn't come to play in second place, but you better come with your checkbook, because I really think the base model and the sport model, whatever it's called, and then you have the M edition with the carbon fiber wheels, that's the model to get. And it's going to be the shit, but it's going to be every bit of 30 G's, so be prepared to write a fancy check, and I guess we'll see it when it comes out. And you know, I'll be taking a trip over to the dealership when I hear that it's available in the showroom floors and stuff here in the States, and we'll go check it out and see what it's about. But I still love this bike, and I still love this bike. And really, again, guys, it's all about really what makes you happy. There's a lot of people out there that don't like the way the Suzuki rides, or the way it looks, this, that, whatever. Then don't buy it. You know, just because I think it's the bomb and the best, you know, that doesn't mean it is the best. You know, buy what makes you happy. And these two make me the most happy. Well, don't forget the Gromsky in the corner. And that's what it's all about. The Ducks didn't make me as happy, and that's why I have these, and that's why these are here to stay. And the next bike that comes out, hey, you know, someone wants to give me their bike to review it, I'm going to review it, give my honest opinion about it, and then keep going and move on. And that's all about life. You got to try new things to know what you don't like, so that you know what you do like. And that's what it is, and that's all what it's about. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this video of enough of me ranting, talking, and tambling. And the GSXR1000R, the quick shifter, everything, the electronics, this bike is the shit from the factory out of the gate. So make sure you go check one out at your dealer. Go sit on one, and you'll really see how comfortable this bike really is. And if you get a chance to ride one or ride a friend's, go take it for a spin. It's pretty badass. But I think that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. If you guys like what you saw, again, more Facebook, Instagram, @TheSpeedBug. Same name here as YouTube. And we'll see all of y'all for some more episodes here on the Speedbug channel. Deuces, guys.